Do you want to hit better quality golf shots? Do you want to hit the golf ball further? Are you sick of missing fairways? And do you want to hit much straighter iron shots? Well, in today's video, that's exactly what we're going to help you do. Hi everyone, my name's James and welcome back to Get Good at Golf, or welcome to Get Good at Golf. If you're new here, guys, take 2 seconds, hit that subscribe button below, and of course, throw a like on this video so we know you're enjoying the content. If you have any questions, make sure you get in the comments below, and any recommendations for videos as well. But today, we're going to focus on irons. So how many people out there feel like potentially you don't hit your irons high enough or long enough? I think that's something which, when I play with so many golfers around the world, or when we've given lessons in the past and moving forward, so many golfers either want to hit the ball further or higher or both. And the beauty about this is, if you do this, I guarantee you'll probably hit the ball straighter as well, because you're going to be in a lot more control. So let's start off by showing you a couple of things where people potentially get this wrong. I've got a 7-iron here, and a 7-iron for me is around about a kind of 160, 165 club, and I know that's my yardage. I spend time on simulators quite often, and I know that's pretty much a stock distance. So what a lot of people will do is set up to the golf ball and look pretty strong. So this is if your setups are correct. We'll talk about setup a little bit later on in the video, but let's just say that essentially you stood with a nice shoulders width apart, you have a little bit of kind of forward shaft lean, and we know that we're stood at a nice angle here. We're not too crouched over or too stood up. Now, the one thing we don't want to do here is allow that club to work straight up in the air. Now, from this position, you might think, James, that looks okay at the top. You don't have a very good looking top of the backswing anyway, so potentially that could work for you. Now, the issue with that is if I've picked the club up straight away, we haven't really gone through the method or the routine of a good takeaway, of a good backswing. We're not set to deliver that club as we want to. So, essentially what we'll see is this. And I've struck that pretty well. To be honest, I can't strike that much better, but it's gone a little bit left. It's only really gone 135 yards in the air, and that sure as hell isn't what I want to be doing with my 7-iron, especially this beautiful bronze number from Tacoma. But what happens if I get to the top of the backswing? So we did that nicely, and then I miraculously manage to find a little bit of width here and then work down, because sometimes you will see backswings, you'll see top of the backswings, you'll see positions where you think, you know what, that looks hideous. Sorry, Bob, I know it's a tough one, isn't it? But you can make it work. Hooray, you can. But it all relies upon timing. And I've spent some time with some of the world's best coaches, and I've been very fortunate to work out how you can become a consistent golfer. I haven't managed to work it into my own game yet, but we're working on it. So essentially what we're seeing is golfers who can pick the club up steep and then find that little bit of a kind of width here. So that looked like a great shot, didn't it? I'm sure you're thinking, what a great shot. Bang down the middle. 125 yards that time. So what's happening here? Because if you look at the replay, it looks really good. Like, although I'm a little bit kind of claustrophobic at the top here with that left arm, I've managed to get myself back out here and then rotate through. So if I'm picking the club up, and this is massively where you're struggling to hit the ball high and straight. You've seen 2 shots there, and you look at the difference in peak heights, it's quite a big difference. So what I want you to feel like is, rather than the club coming up here, I want to feel as though we keep that club as low to the ground as possible all the way. Now, what we're not going to do, we're not going to slide off the ball and keep moving this way, because obviously that's not how we want to move it. I don't want to see a big squat into that right side. In fact, what I want to see is, as you move that club away here, that right hip just starting to move out for you. So you can see that I'm moving shoulders and chest, shoulders and chest. As the club gets to about here, where that butt of the club's pointing towards your left belt loop, allow the hips to set and move up. So from there, I'm in a really strong position. I'm higher at the top. Now, the swing might feel and look a little bit shorter, but that's not a problem. We don't mind a short, compact-looking golf swing. Think of guys like John Rahm. I always remember Boo Weekley. Do you remember him? Like that. Yeah, it was like a Halloween magazine, wasn't it? But essentially, a lot of good golfers who hit the ball high, straight, a long way, nice, short and compact, but from there, because they've had the width on the way back, you can then allow yourself to have the correct sequence down into the ball. So if I hit you a shot, I'm going to try and hit you a good shot now as opposed to the 2 mediocre ones that we've hit. And I'm going to show you a drill that can really help you with this. And it's a drill I got from a really good teacher as a junior. So you can see there straight away, I've pulled it a little bit, but it's a much better golf shot. That's up there, 140 releasing out to 145. Can you tell me if it loads of shots today, Rob? That was really tired, wasn't it? Let's go one more, and let's really compress that ball. So I did there wrong, and I love this kind of video because I love kind of learning on the job as well. I want to feel like I'm stretching out here, separating the upper and lower body, and then really getting down into my impact position. There we go. So that's the shot I'm wanting to hit with my 7-iron. Lovely, high, towering. It's going to be around about 150, then 160 total, 156.8. So what was the big difference there? Even between my two swings, of which I wanted them both to be good, but unfortunately they weren't. The drill that I want you to work on, actually, if you bring just a couple of golf balls in, it's a fantastic drill to get yourself set and to allow yourself to get the club in the right position. So I'm going to put this ball just a few inches behind here. I'm not going to have it so that it's miles away and I really have to reach for it, but it's just going to be in the initial takeaway here. Now what I'm going to try and do is just roll that ball back here. So the ball rolls back nice and straight. You can see that my hands and the shaft haven't set yet. We haven't moved anything up, but from there initially, it's allowed me to move that club out. Now the beauty about this is, if I were to whip that massively inside, I brought a couple of balls to show you, if I were to move that hugely inside and allow the hands to flip over, which a lot of people do when they're picking the club up as well, is the ball does that. And if I hadn't taken that little deviation off there, that goes straight to the right. So I'm trying to get that ball to move back square, because I'm trying to keep that club low to the ground whilst moving back in like a square manner to the target. So if I do that well, club straight back, you can see again a much better strike, a lovely high ball flight. We're starting to get nice and loose now, and the ball's carrying a little bit further at that kind of 165 number, which we said earlier. So I can actually do this, and it's a really good thing to do on the driving range, a really good thing to do potentially when you're warming up. So if you go into a practice net, here in the UK, a lot of courses don't have driving ranges, but we have practice nets all around. You could even do it with a wedge just around the greens. It allows you to kind of maintain that dynamic loft whilst keeping that club low to the ground, and it's allowing you to keep that club face square. I mentioned earlier about flipping it over. You will never see anyone do this drill and miss it this way, because that is what we see so often. People just pick the club up and then essentially stove it down into it, and that's where you struggle to get that ball up here, and that's where you struggle to get that distance and of course that peak height. So I would do this and I'd hit balls with it. I would put a basket behind you at the driving range, because balls are expensive now, aren't they, at driving ranges? But this is a really, really good, simple, easy drill. It can help you in so many ways. And look at that, that's the best shot we've hit by far. That is down the centre. It's high, it's straight, it's 161 yards carry. And even I'm learning on the job here, because I hit a couple of bad shots at the beginning. But guys, if that can help me, I really hope it can help you hit the golf ball better, hit it stronger, hit it further, and get good at golf. Goodbye.